Brother Omar Suleiman is a munafiq. He's a fasiq for what he's done. How can he claim to be an imam and this holy scholar after doing that? Okay, guys. So, as some of you are probably already aware, Brother Omar Suleiman has been getting slammed across social media for going to this protest that he was at. And, you know, people have been insulting him and calling him all sorts of derogatory names, purely in some cases just for being at a protest, in other cases for doing some of the things that he was doing. And yeah, I'm going to be just kind of speaking my mind on this and, you know, giving my own personal opinion and views on based upon what I've seen. Okay? So the first part is obviously the protest. There are a lot of people out there that are saying, oh, protesting is against Islam and blah, blah, blah. Okay? Since when? As Muslims, you know, we're required to stand up against the injustices of the world. You know, if people are being mistreated, as Muslims, we're required to take a stand against that, which includes how immigrants are being treated in America, where they're being thrown into cages. There's been a lot of reports of sexual abuse against children in those cases. The women are being forcefully sterilized in those cages. So yeah, this isn't a holiday camp. It's more reminiscent of a concentration camp, to be perfectly honest with you, in what's going on. So yes, as Muslims, we do need to take a stand against this. So that's the first part. Okay. The next part is obviously there were Christians and Jews and, you know, other religious denominations, as well as members of the LGBTQ community at this protest. And people are saying, oh, astaghfirullah, how can he, you know, stand with these people? Because he's taking a stand against injustice. Are Muslims now the only community that can take a stand against these things? No. So, yes, other communities feel the same way and they want to stand against it. And fair play to them. Why shouldn't they? Muslims don't have a monopoly on being the vanguard for justice. Okay? That's the first thing. The next part is the Prophet Muhammad, peace and blessings be upon him, didn't only work with Muslims. He worked with Christians, he worked with Jews. And were there gay people around at that time? Yes. They may not have been as open about it as they are today, but they were around. And that's the society that we live in today. You're going to be interacting with peoples of, you know, different genders, different sexual orientations, and different religions. And obviously different races. If you can't handle that, move to another country. And that's all I can really say about it. You know, people say, oh, astaghfirullah, he was free mixing. He was in public. Free mixing is when you take a person of the opposite gender into a place that's private. That's what free mixing is. You know, if free mixing is just being in public with the opposite gender, then how do any of you go to the shops? You know, you guys are going to have a heart attack if you go into a supermarket. So, yeah, calm down with all the he was free mixing stuff. Okay? There was another thing out where people who's pouring some liquid on the ground and people saying, oh, he was taking part of a Christian ritual. I have never known any Christian ritual that involves you pouring liquid onto the ground. The only time I've ever poured liquid on the ground before I was Muslim is when I used to visit the grave sites of, you know, people that I know that have passed away, and I used to pour a drink out for them in the same way that you see them do in the movies. That's exactly what we were doing. You know, as they say, we're pouring one out for them. You know, I've never known any ritual that involves you doing that that's part of a specific religion or, you know, belief of some sort at all. Okay? Now, the next part is, for all you people that are, you know, slamming him on social media, okay, how many of you have ever been to a protest? You know, how many of you have been protesting against Kashmir, Palestine, Yemen, the Uyghur Muslim situation that's going on? Or, you know, protesting against injustices in general? How many of you, you know, armchair warriors have been out and protested yourself? How many of you have even donated to these causes? Most of you, all of you will do is share stuff on social media and that's it. And then you'll forget about it. You'll move on. All right? And also, how many of you have even prayed Fajr this morning? Okay? As Isa alayhi salam said, let he who is without sin cast the first stone. Same concept. Let the person who is the perfect person be the one to condemn Brother Suleiman for what he's done. Or Brother Omar Suleiman, I should say. I apologise for what he's done. None of us are perfect. Islam specifically states that we were created to be imperfect, because if we were perfect, we would be replaced by something that isn't. Because if we were perfect, there would be no point in the test that is life, that is the dunya. Okay? So, yes, Brother Omar Suleiman is going to make mistakes. He is going to do something that isn't necessarily in line with the Islamic teachings, as we all, as Muslims, are prone to do. Okay? So, yes, I may not agree with everything that he's done. And I'm not going to sit there and say that I agree with everything that he has done. I don't know him. I've never even sat in the same room with him, let alone spoken to him face to face, or I've never even spoken to him on social media. I just know who he is because he's famous. You know, in the same way that I know other famous celebrities. You know, I know about them because they're big names. I've never met them. So how am I going to turn around and say that, oh, he's this and he's that? I don't know what he gets up to behind closed doors. I don't even know what he gets up to in the public light because I don't watch all of his videos. So, yeah, you seeing someone do something on social media does not mean you know them. It definitely does not give you the right to criticize them. Okay? Because just as you're criticizing him, imagine what Allah can say to you on the Day of Judgment. Okay? Because on that day, as they say, no soul will be able to suffice for another. So, you know, when you're up on the Day of Qiyamah getting judged for everything that you've done, you're not going to be able to turn around and say, but what about Omar Suleiman and all the stuff that he did? Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala isn't going to care about that while he's judging you. Okay? So at the end of the day, Allah knows best about what Brother Omar Suleiman has done, or what he may not have done, or, you know, or whatever the case may have been. It's not for us to do that. If you personally don't feel what he's done is right, and you want to advise him politely, keyword there, then yes, by all means, do that. You know, if you have religious evidence to back up your point, then do that. But the problem is with a lot of these controversial topics, and I'm going to do the same thing, you know, it's when you clickbait it sort of thing. I'm going to have a different intro where I sound like I'm slamming Brother Omar Suleiman. And yeah, people like to click on those things because we like the drama. We're human. That's what we do. That's one of the reasons why Muslims are so misrepresented in the mainstream media, because Muslims doing bad things sells a lot more papers than Muslims doing good things. That's why it's money at the end of the day. It's the same thing with YouTube. I know that if I word a title a certain way, it's going to get a lot more views than if I worded it another way. My Dawood Kim video that I did, that has over 40,000 views because it was such a hot topic at the time, and occasionally still is whenever it comes back around again, it gets more views. I really rather wish my video about, you know, how the Jahannam isn't a joke got that many views, as opposed to my video talking about a prominent YouTuber. So, but yeah, that's why this video is going to get a couple of hundred views, whether my usual videos only get just over 100. Because people like the drama, they like the gossip. So that's essentially what this video is about. It's not me slamming or condoning or condemning Brother Omar Suleiman for what he's done. It's condemning the people that are watching this thinking that I'm going to be doing that. And yeah, fair enough, I'll put some clickbaity intro, which will probably go something along the lines of like this. Brother Omar Suleiman is a munafiq. He's a fasiq for what he's done. How can he claim to be an imam and this holy scholar after doing that? Yeah, that's the intro. And that is, you know, if I put that in there, I know that that's the only part that people are going to watch, and then they're going to click off the video. You know, because what a lot of people don't understand about YouTube analytics and the algorithm and everything like that is that it tells me the average amount of views that a video I post gets. I know most of you guys don't watch my videos through to the end. I know that. I know a couple of people on here are going to comment saying, actually, I do watch them all to the end, and I know some people that do. You know, like some of the friends of mine that whenever I post YouTube videos, they watch them all to the end. And thank you all for any of you who do that. I really do appreciate it. You know, don't think that I don't. And I obviously understand that some people, some of my videos might get a bit long, and quite frankly, you don't have the patience or the time to be able to sit through the whole thing. Again, that's perfectly fine. But this is one of those videos where you do genuinely need to watch the entire thing, because, you know, otherwise you're going to get the wrong idea. So, yeah, guys, just to sum up this video and for all future references, before you start slamming someone for what they've done, take a look at yourselves. Are you perfect? If not, work on yourselves before trying to change somebody else. You know, and there's a couple quotes that my parents have told me. The first one is, those in glass houses shouldn't throw stones. So that basically means that if you're not perfect, don't start slamming somebody else, because the fact that your own, you know, secrets or anything bad that you've done can just as easily be exposed, even more so now with the internet. Excuse me. And the second quote is, get your own house in order before judging the state of somebody else's, which again is the same thing. Don't knock somebody else for not being perfect when you're not. Because just as you guys are easily knocking brother Omar Suleiman for the things that he's done, imagine if all your secrets got exposed to him and what he could say about you. Okay? And yeah, guys, that's all for today. Thank you guys for tuning in. Until next time, peace.